Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecting Humans. This is the second edition of the student edition that we're running so far, and this is the first time I'm the host, so we're changing up a little bit today. For all that you don't know, my name is Andreas. I come from Australia, and I'm currently living in Germany at the moment, studying hospitality management. And I will introduce one of our hosts today. His name is Pascal Strauss.
Hey, Andreas, how are you doing?
I'm doing perfectly fine, and yourself?
Yeah, very well, very well. It's a busy time, but also people get a little bit back to, let's call it not really normal, but it's getting a little, the tension gets out. That's a good sign.
That is always good. And what are you drinking today?
Sorry?
And what are you drinking today?
Well, I have a alcohol-free beer today.
Oh, nice. That's actually my parents' favorite beer.
Yeah. Well, then cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And now our second host for the day is Alexandra. Alexandra.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hello,
Doing
Andreas,
well.
Pascal. Nice to see you both.
Yes.
What do we have in the kitchen today?
We've got the chicken curry, a deboned leg of chicken that I will do. I will sort that in a minute with some white rice and a beautiful, fantastic curry sauce. And I'm drinking a nice Shiraz from Switzerland.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that curry when it's finished.
Yeah.
And without further ado, we will start to introduce our guests for this evening. The first one is the lovely Kalis.
Hello, I study hospitality with Andreas at IUBH, and I'm from Germany as well.
Awesome. And what are you drinking today?
I just have some water here because I'm not drinking anything at the moment.
That is fair. It is the school night.
Well, not because of that, but yeah.
All good. Lovely to have you here. And our next one on the list is Miriam.
Hi, I'm Miriam. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I'm also studying hospitality in La Roche in Switzerland.
Ah, lovely. And what do you have today?
A nice, refreshing cup of Swiss tap water.
It's the best tap water in the world. I can't argue with that one.
It really is.
Yeah, truly eye-opening. And finally, without further ado, we have our final guest, Matteo.
Mathilde, but hello.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, people have a hard time pronouncing my name, especially like in English-speaking countries. But yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm studying Le Roche too with Miriam. And yeah,
Oh, nice. Awesome. And what do you have to drink today?
I'm having a glass of red wine. As much as I love water, I'm enjoying a glass of wine.
That's perfectly fine. I heard you speak French before, so I can understand the love.
Yeah, that's why I'm French. So this is the growl.
Yeah. So welcome everyone. I almost forgot. We have our lovely Eric in the background. He is our producer for tonight. Let me introduce him before I forget.
Really?
Censor, my friend.
That's how fast it goes, huh?
Yeah. Nah, perfectly fine. But Eric will be handling all of the messages in the chat and making sure the night runs very smoothly. Okay.
I will. Have a wonderful evening, and I will take care of all the comments and questions coming in. And whenever you want to, I can throw a question to the audience or to the students too. But I know that there's someone who's sitting there who's really good at that as well. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Okay, so let's start off with our first buzzword, the second lockdown. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Honestly, I was in Paris last weekend, and lockdown is not an actual word for what's going on. It's non-existent. Like, people go out. I haven't seen there's the same amount of people in the street as there normally is during summer. It's insane. Like, if you go in Paris and you don't know there's a lockdown, you couldn't guess ever. yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, I don't believe in it, but apparently it's working. The numbers are going down, so I don't know what's going on here.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, yeah.
Talking about numbers,
Well, for us,
I had a teacher that says that there's 3 lines: the black, the white, and the statistics.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Kadis? How about the second lockdown for you?
well, for us, it's a partial lockdown, so it's not as bad as the first one, I think, because we're not only stuck inside. Of course, we're definitely still supposed to stay in our houses, but I feel like it's a lot better than the first time around. Also, maybe because we gotten used to it a bit, but it's really hard to not be able to see everyone, especially family and things like that.
Completely understandable. On that note of you seeing it, did you guys think this lockdown was coming after the summer, or did you come as a surprise for you?
No,
Yeah,
I was expecting it.
Sure.
Definitely.
It was
Especially
really to be expected because of coming, and when it gets cold, flus just spread. It's normal.
and especially with how they handled the summer, like everyone was allowed to do anything they wanted. So obviously there was going to be a second wave. It had to happen.
Exactly.
That's
So
true
if
as
you
well,
were
yeah.
if you were expecting the lockdown, then did you decide to do anything differently from the first time? Now that you're somewhat prepared, what have you guys done differently, and why?
I think this time around there was a lot less stress, because with the first lockdown, it was like no one was expecting it really. It was something totally new to us as like for the entire human population. But this one, because we already went through the first one, and especially here on campus, I think we were expecting it because everyone went home for quarantine for the first lockdown, and then everyone came back. We have such an international campus. There was definitely going to be some cases, and I think it was inevitable that they were going to spread and we're going to have a lockdown. And so this time around, there was just less stress. It was just kind of like, okay, we expected it and we just took it on.
Yeah, the main difference for me is that
I
I
agree
decided
with that. Also at our campus, it was the same.
Yeah, so go for it. Talk. Don't worry.
It was
Sorry,
like- No, don't worry. Go.
No, the only thing I did different, like, yeah, as Mariam said, it was less stress. But I just decided to stay here in Switzerland because it was a lot more quiet and like easygoing. And I didn't want to be stuck in my house again. Never happening again. So yeah, here it's super chill.
Same,
yeah.
Yeah, for me as well, this lockdown was a lot easier than the other one. Yeah.
I think we have a slight time lapse here. Ladies, I want to challenge you a little bit because this goes too smoothly, and that's not how it should go here. That's not how it should go here. Sorry, Alexandre.
That's your specialty.
Yeah, but I heard some stuff that really I want to ask questions. I heard, for example, Mathilde, you were saying I saw that Paris is normal, and that's insane. I heard Sherry saying, "Oh, you get used to it." I heard also that you said, "Oh, everybody was allowed, or everybody is allowed to do anything." Well, is that not normal? Is it not too hard now to go in these kind of, oh yeah, but that's normal. So that's the second lockdown. Second means the door is open for the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth, and you don't know where it's going. So that we get used to these kind of things too easy to, as Alexander was saying, to get by. How can you say it? Information that are hard to verify yourself. So that is really also it. How can I say this? How can we make it the last lockdown? I would not even say it the second. It's all about these things. So when I heard you say these things, I get a little energy with a question mark. How do you see
Well,
that?
if I look at the people around me, they are getting impatient with the lockdown because, of course, every single time you do something, or if you see a friend, you overthink everything. You also always have to overthink, oh, do I have my mask with me? So it does still pose a lot of stressful parts in it. And I think for that reason, the people are going to get impatient. I mean, you can see that people are getting impatient with all the demonstrations happening against Corona that don't really make it better, but
I think
I
there's
don't think
no
it's
knowing if it's
good
the
if it's
last.
going to happen again.
There's absolutely
I just
no
feel
way
like
of-
people will start rioting if it continues like this.
Andreas, I think you have to guide it a little more, otherwise they will talk over each other the whole time.
Sorry, yep, my apologies. First time doing this. Sorry, what were you saying, Matilda?
I was saying there's no way of knowing if it's going to be the last lockdown. Like, we don't know how the virus is going to spread. We don't know if the vaccine is going to work. We don't know anything. So yeah, people kind of don't have a choice of getting used to it because they know they're going to have to live with it. And even if COVID is not this, like, maybe it's the first like real big pandemic in our generation, it's probably not going to be the last. So people know that, they're aware of it, and they know that they're going to have to like get used to it, of wearing masks, being in lockdown, paying attention to the health and like the social distance and everything. Is just something like we all know unconsciously that we're going to have to get used to it.
Yeah, we have to adapt to
Yeah.
the
It's
situation.
super sad. I don't like it, but
That honestly, that scares me.
it's
I mean,
terrifying.
I
But yeah.
have a-
If I'm being honest,
Yep. Go on, Karis.
if I'm being honest, I don't think people will accept more lockdowns because if you look at the economy, if you look at also people going for demonstrations, I mean, I can completely understand them in a way because they have their jobs taken away, or some of them do, and they go in short time working and things like that, and they don't accept it anymore. So it's also hard on them. And if you look at the economy of Germany as well, it costs billions of dollars, not dollars, euros, to have this lockdown. And eventually it's not going to be possible anymore to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that state, you're saying that people are giving up and they're saying it's too hard to do it anymore. I mean, I study hospitality management, but I'm currently working in a grocery store, restacking an organic fruit section to make ends meet. And I'm happy doing that because at least I still am doing something with my day. You know, I'm still making the bills meet. I've got no issue doing this. I'm just waiting for the world to get better so I can walk away. So I might have a chance to get hired when I'm done. But are you saying it's okay for people to get tired of jobs?
No, I agree with you that there's still opportunities and that you should take them. But I feel like there's other people that might not think the same way and that get really annoyed by the situation and are really going to go against it. I mean, you already have a lot of people going against it.
I know, but my thing of challenging you is you said that you understood them. So my question is, why would you understand that behavior? And yet we all know people rioting and demonstrating is just causing more corona cases. I mean, the coronavirus tracker created a new cover for that.
How do I explain it? Like, I don't completely understand them, but I understand them to a certain aspect because if they do lose their jobs, it's still a really shitty situation. And also for me, for example, in the beginning of the year, so last semester, I lost my internship because of it, and I had to change my whole study program around. And in between, that really annoyed me, and I was really just kind of sad about everything, and I was really not having it. I finally adjusted. I found my way, and I'm happy now. But in that moment, it was hard to continue saying, "Hey, I care about this."
Okay.
It's just maybe emotions taking over the clear thinking. I don't know how to explain.
No, yeah, I completely understand that. I mean, girls, please, what are your thoughts on this in regards to how is it in Switzerland actually? Because we've only got the German perspective here.
Right. Well, here where our campus is, I think it's very remote. We live in a very small community, but you can really, really feel the lockdown right now. Everything is closed, everything is quiet. There's not that many people out, you know, but I think...
I don't agree 100% with you.
You don't?
No, like people are still outside. People still go to the lobby. People still see each other. Things are happening on campus. The stores are open. Everything's open except the restaurants, and every single one of them are just deliveries and takeaway. So there's still a lot of life, and you see people around and outside.
Yeah, but if you go to Montana right now, it's pretty quiet and pretty dead compared to normally at this time of year. Because usually this time of year, there's a lot of people coming in, you know, getting ready for ski season and all of that. But right now, compared to when it's normal, like pre-COVID, it's very, very quiet, I would say.
Yeah, I haven't been in Con for a while, so that's maybe why.
Okay.
I don't
I feel like more people are out now than they were before lockdown, actually. I don't know. Or in between, at least when there was sunny days, there were a lot of people outside.
Yeah, I think people are trying to enjoy the weather and try not to stay at home as much. I do think there's a lot more people enjoying nature and taking walks and taking advantage of that right now instead of staying cooped up in the house. Because everything we do now is online, you know, classes are online, meetings are online, everything is online. So I think any chance they get, people will try to go outside and get some fresh air.
I'd like to challenge you a little bit, because here we're talking about the weather, we're talking about access to the situation, right? But the four of you here, you are students from hospitality school, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the after? I mean, how do you see, I mean, not even the after, if you continue with it, how do you think business can adapt to the situation? Because restaurants now, they are crazy because they cannot sell as much. Hotels, there are some hotels that are very minimum. So there's a lot of expenses done, and they need actually to create revenue. So how will you, the new generation, think you could bring some new revenue?
And if someone says dark kitchens, it's not the right answer.
Well, honestly, well, things are already happening, like with all the delivery and stuff, the new ways of selling, of having hygiene. Wait, I'm losing my words here. Norms, yeah, that's it. But except from that, honestly, since I'm not like in the industry at the moment, it's hard to come up with ideas that you know are going to work, since we're super far away and like locked and stuck in our classes. So it's hard to see what people want and what they need, and how restaurant owners and like hospitality people can react to that.
Exactly. I also think it really depends on the place and the culture, because I know for a fact right now in Japan, all the hotels are still open. There's still people coming in and out, especially business hotels are like pretty busy right now because people are not traveling internationally. So there's a lot of people traveling within the country, and hotels are actually pretty booked up, especially I know for when the weather was warmer, because people couldn't travel outside of Japan. They were traveling within Japan, and they were traveling to down south, you know, and all the hotels were completely fully booked. So it really depends.
I have a follow-up question on exactly this issue. Just from your perspective, because Alexandre and me, we traveled already. We're already a little bit. Let's say that's not our first crisis that we see. Well, let's say it like this from that point of view. In the beginning of everything, it was like a big connector, because people started to reach out online. They started to reach out all over the planet. They started to connect to people. They started to connect to themselves again, and so on and so on. So that was what you could see. What you can see now is exactly this. Actually, what happens, because I think, I don't know, the things are not so much how can I say it? It's not so much that there are rules everywhere the same. Not even in countries the rules are everywhere the same. Not even in small places the rules are not the same. It becomes to a big divider where people start now to point at each other. Oh, but they can do this. Why cannot we do this? Oh, in China, they are now again at the discotheques. Why the hell can we not do this? Oh, wait a minute. The Austrian people, they do it like this. The German, or not even in Germany, you start to see that, wait a minute, why are they doing it like this? And so this is actually now on the brink. And then how do you see it from your perspective when you say, oh yeah, well, we start to get used to it? So this is a situation which, where actually you guys from the younger generation, if this stays a little longer, you're going to live with it way longer. So how do you see that? Clang. There was the killing question. Okay. Yeah, but think of in 5 years. Think of in 5 years, and not maybe not in the hospitality industry. Just look on how this goes actually, where it was first a big connector, and now it starts to divide, and this is what makes me at least think. That makes me think on what can we do.
I mean, on that note, quickly before one of our three lovely guests say something, do you know much about MERS and what happened in South Korea?
Not really, to be honest.
Okay, so MERS is a viral infection like coronavirus. It comes from Saudi Arabia, hit South Korea, completely shut down the country because of the pandemic, and the country closed it and saved everyone. But the only way the country moved on after this is they signed a bill in law that says that if the WHO or some regulatory body says that we are suffering from a epidemic in the area or B pandemic in the world, all of your personal data, information tracking and everything now belongs to the government in an effort to stop the virus. Now, we all come from Europe where we love our data privacy. So
that's never going to work in Europe.
Would you want another lockdown, or do you want to be having a discotheque in South Korea right now?
Well, me personally, I find it really shocking to hear this, actually. I think it's with the values we grew up with in Europe, but I would feel controlled in a way, and I don't think the people in Europe would accept this type of thinking.
You could be saving a life by doing this. You could save your best friend's grandmother. You could save a life.
Yeah.
By helping this, you will track and trace. You could save your own grandparents per se. I hope no one has, please.
Okay, but
go ahead,
Matilda. Okay, if you give access to your data to save a life, you give access to your data to absolutely anything. Where's the limit? Yes, to see where you went, and they say they're going to use it only to see if you were sick and who you were in contact with and all of that. But it doesn't mean they cannot use it for something else, and that's what's scary, and that's what I think Europeans don't like about sharing the data and making it public.
So you would rather another lockdown then?
I would not say that, but honestly, yeah. I'd rather be in lockdown than have it like a private, like a police state, and where police and government can check every single thing I do. I think it's super terrifying. I'd rather be in lockdown and at least have my own things, have my privacy, than having the government know absolutely everything I do.
But your industry is hemorrhaging at the moment, and you want another lockdown.
I'm not in the business yet, so that's my answer right now. I don't know what my answer is going to be in 5 years, but I think it's a really tricky question for sure.
That's the point.
Yeah, but I value privacy, honestly.
I really agree with Matilda here.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I say, for me, as someone who grew up in Asia and I spent most of my life in Singapore, which is a very controlled country, and it's very, like intense when it comes to security and everything. I would rather have the government have all of our data, because I don't believe that in the day and age that we live in now, I don't believe that we actually have any privacy. We might think that we do, but but in reality, we really don't. We have the illusion of privacy, but we really don't. Everything we do is on the internet, and all of that information is stored there, so someone has access to it. And honestly, if it was up to me, and if it was between having another lockdown and going through this for however long more, or just giving access to my personal data, which I already think is not just my personal data, which I already think the government already has access to, I would rather do that and have everything be wrapped up and finished with this pandemic, and then we can move on from there.
Can I say something here? Right?
Yes.
As long as we have that illusion that we have still hands on our data, right? The government cannot use it. The moment we give everything to them, they will be able to use it to control us.
Right.
Officially saying that, what they do in China to give some points to the people according to the good thing they do, etc., etc. Right now, because we got that illusion of controlling our data, and there are some laws that are protecting it and whatsoever, they cannot do anything with it.
Yeah, true.
Law. So, but again, if I hear of what Mathilde says, being in lockdown, that's also a police kind of way of controlling us.
Yeah, true.
Exactly.
So where are we going?
Now, if it's not being clear, that law is only in effect when it's an epidemic or a pandemic. The moment it's over, the moment the data is never being used again.
Yeah. So
I don't think that would happen though, because it's like as soon as they have the data, they're gonna use it. They're gonna continue using it.
Just to show you what happens here is exactly where I was asking in the beginning. You get used to stuff, and this is also how this is done. We should get also rid of the illusion that people don't try to make the best out of the situation for their own purposes, because this is what happens when you and that's of course just a thought experiment. Don't try this at home, kids. When you have a frog and you throw him in boiling water, the frog will jump out immediately, find a way of jumping out. But if you put him in cold water and you slowly heat it up, it will get used to it, and suddenly it will be over. So here it is a little bit like asking you guys, okay, do you want that I slap you on the right or on the left cheek? So that's the question that you got. So when I hear then these things, I think it is more important that it is very clear that what's happening right now has to stop someday. And not go on. And this is a little bit what I see when I hear then, that was the initial question that I asked you. I get used to it. When I see people running around, that's insane. People are allowed to do anything. Yes, of course, people are allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
You see the how you instantly also, this is where we have to all watch out. That was the initial question. So it's good that you make that experience, that it is not so easy that we have to challenge ourselves actually each day in these situations. That's where we are in right now.
And there is another thing that you have to take into consideration as well. That it says that who's got the information has got the power. So they've got the information of statistics, they've got the information of science, etc. So we just grab whatever we have on the internet if you really want to look for it. And when you look for it yourself in internet, that's contradictory. So because they've got the prime information, they've got the power. And they can create lockdown after lockdown after lockdown after lockdown simply because they got the information. So we have to be careful here as well.
look, there is a beautiful comment right now in the comment section from Thomas. Now, we all said we wouldn't give away our data, except for Miriam. But he asked, so what are you doing now to contribute to reduce the numbers that don't worsen the situation so we have another lockdown? Or what are you going, or are you also out with the rest? So if you're not going to give your data, what else are you going to do to help them? Or do you have any ideas, or are you just going to go back to what you did in the first round?
Social distancing? No, that's not enough.
I think it's all up to personal responsibility with each and every person, to take to take it into their own hands, and just because you see other people doing all this stuff and, you can't have that crowd mentality. Oh, like all those people are out, they're fine, then it should be fine if I do it too, like we can't have that. I think everyone needs to. Beautiful.
Now I'm hungry. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Lovely. Lovely, Chubbly.
Indeed. Very nice.
Also, maybe you should all not forget that there are some countries in the world who cope a little bit better with it.
Exactly.
And some countries who are not so good coping with it.
Exactly.
And what you also should not forget, maybe then it's quite difficult to see the big picture when people close you in at home. But how can you now complain? And I just can take it in Germany. How can you complain that you want to put everybody in a lockdown at home because you don't want that the hospitals are overwhelmed with cases? Whereas 3 years ago, the same people who says that this now said we have to close down every hospital that is not making money. So always question these things. Just have a critical mindset. I don't say that these people are bad people or whatsoever, but just have a critical thinking mindset. Don't accept everything just because it comes up to you and other people do it. Have a critical mindset. I think that's very important that we pass that on to the new generation, to the next generation. That you just don't take the things as, oh yeah, it is as it is, but just ask always the question behind it.
In cop investigation, in police investigation, when they are stuck, there is always someone who come with that sentence: follow the money. Where does the money? Who's that crime profits money-wise? And you'll be able to find something. I'm not accusing anyone here, but
yeah, I'd love to know where the money is for Corona.
Oh, that would be another debate.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we've pretty much covered that topic, more or less. We'll move on to the next one, our lovely new buzzword, internships. Now, Katis is currently in line for an internship, and you two have just finished your degree, which means I'm assuming you're getting an internship or a new job. We'll say getting a graduate job or internship are the same for this one.
Okay, yeah.
Do you see this as a different opportunity or a struggle, and why?
It's definitely a struggle, I think. Right now, from personally searching for jobs right now, it's kind of difficult because obviously a lot of companies are letting go of their employees, so they're not really looking to hire new ones. And if they are, what I noticed personally was that right now there's a lot of open positions for internships because obviously companies pay interns less. So that way, if they hire interns, they're able to pay them less. But the requirements for these internships are way, way higher. So they're looking for people with professional experience to work for an intern salary. So it's kind of difficult to look for positions right now, definitely.
Are you saying like 1 year or 5 years experience?
There's different ones. I've seen positions open for internships that are like 3 years of professional experience in this field, 4 years,
But did you try to apply to it anyway?
I haven't personally started applying yet because I haven't found anything that it has caught my attention.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not looking for an internship, so I don't really relate to that subject.
Okay, what about graduate positions then?
No, I want to do diploma next year. I want to do something else. So I'm really not looking for any jobs or internships. So really, I don't know what's going on.
Was that decision made because of Corona, or was that pre-planned?
Pre-planned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am now considering doing a graduate program because of the situation.
Do it with me. I'm doing it
right
in
now.
school.
Now you should see it as an opportunity. What about you, Karis? How's it going for you?
Well, for me personally, I have found an internship, but it's a voluntary internship and therefore not paid. I think other internships are really, really hard to find, especially my roommates. They are from aviation and they have literally nothing which they can apply to because there's simply no jobs out there or no internships out there. Of course, the aviation industry especially is struggling a lot, and therefore it just makes it really, really hard for the people that have to do their internships to find something.
See, the thing I'm trying to get to here is that there's an age-old saying, like, if you get down, you come back up a lot more stronger. I find this as an opportunity. I was lucky I had my internship actually during Corona because they kept me. But I still look actively for jobs to see what there are and see what's interesting to find. You know, I mean, I was lucky with my current student work job at the moment because of contacts. But I mean, if you look online, I mean, I don't know what everyone's affiliations with, but if you've ever seen Hilton on LinkedIn, they message everyone looking for a job right now. They are with a plethora of jobs. So, I mean, look, Karis, you're the perfect example because you have one right now. Did you want to do that internship, or did you do it because you gave up on trying to find something you wanted to do?
No, I actually wanted to do it. I did look before. I struggled finding something that I really wanted to do until this one, and then I decided to go for it.
Okay.
I actually have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Was the fact that it was not paid a big influence on you? Did it have an influence on you? Like, did it matter that it was an unpaid internship? Did
For
it make
this
you
one, actually, it didn't matter that much for me. First of all, because it's something that really is interesting to me, and I really want to do it for me personally. And another reason why I really didn't mind is because I found it hard to find something which is really interesting at the moment, and that I cared for as much. And I mean, I'm not that far from finishing my studies, so the next semester, the only other semester that I could do on campus would be half a semester with midterms and then doing my bachelor thesis. But university told me that I was not allowed to do my bachelor thesis without my internship credits. So I feel like that's another reason why I really went for it. It's just, yeah.
There was no
better to have it and not.
But here there is something that I would like to bring up. To have an internship without being paid, for me, it is not acceptable.
I agree. That's why I'm asking.
I stand with you on that one.
Because, I mean, doing hard work, because you're doing hard work in internship, not being paid, that's slavery. Call it the way you want, but that's slavery. So, honestly, there is something that needs to be done here. There is no excuse that you come here to learn something. Yes, you learn, but you do something as well for producing that revenue. And that's something that needs to be clarified as well. So my question as well to you is, why looking for an internship and not looking for a job? And then validate, because you need to validate an internship your 6 months.
Well, I think if I were in a different position, I would definitely not accept the unpaid internship. So if it were after my studies and I wanted to do an internship, then I wouldn't be accepting it. But for now, because it's something that is part of my university, it is fine for me. I don't know how to better explain this, but that's why I don't mind as much.
But Pascal, remember when you said that people get used to it because you've been told that for internship offer they're not getting paid, therefore you consider that normal, and you don't fight for it. And that's the
I wouldn't
same
consider that normal. Like, I would definitely not consider that normal, but in this case, I don't know.
And when you will be
Also,
manager, when you will be manager or owner of a company, will you pay the internship from the Roche or from your IUBH school? Will you pay them?
Yes.
Well, I would like to see that. I believe you, but I would like to see the possibility of that.
When it comes to internships, because I heard you say your roommate doesn't find something. He's studying something in aviation. Well, there's a reason why you study what you study. There is something that attracted you to do that. And that's mostly never the branch or mostly never the things what you do. There is a reason, a need, a human need behind that. So why not also look over the edge and look into other branches if there is an internship what you can get, which has maybe nothing to do with what you study, but maybe you find out that this is really something what gives you pleasure or really something where you can connect to, as I've seen it already so many times, people that start in something and end up in something completely different and are the happiest people on the planet. So why not use this chance that you have also right now to not be too narrow-minded and maybe also to look over the how you say that, over the edge, to look at the other side.
Well, I completely agree with you that, but in our university, it is that the internship has to do with the subject that you study, and that's why they cannot go out of the borders of this to look for something else.
And are you considering asking the school to change that policy?
That would be an idea, yeah.
Because I know that
I haven't thought about it yet, so.
Sorry, what was that, Alexander?
Again?
In Les Roches, they are kind of free to do their internship. They can do that. I mean, hospitality being so broad, at a certain point, they can do the internship wherever they want, basically.
Well, that's something that could definitely be brought up, and I will bring up with the student representatives, but we'll see how it goes.
Just a quick one. Our producer would love to say something on this topic. Let me just bring him back in for a sec. In the hot seat, here we go. Eric, you're muted, my friend.
We don't hear you.
The quote of the year, Andreas.
You are on mute. Okay, I would like to bring in two thoughts that I shared on a panel earlier this week on this same topic. And the one was, and I want to go with what Pascal was saying right there. I imagine looking ahead, right? Looking forward. I imagine if you don't work now, you don't take a job, you don't do an internship, you just don't do much right now. Not on that set. What will happen when we start to gradually get back into business and employment is going to come there? What do you think employers are looking for then? The people who sat and didn't do much in the job market, in the industry, getting in there, getting their feet wet, bustling, hustling, and doing stuff, or the ones that did? And on the second hand, just like Gambroni said, and this is from my own experience, I started hospitality. I have done internships in, startups. I've been working there. And I didn't look for internships. I looked for jobs. And I'm amazed by how many times I'm meeting amazing students who tell me, yeah, but I have to do an internship. Why don't you just look for a job? Well, I have to do an internship. I'm graduating or something like this. Right? I have to start with that. Honestly, coming from the industry, you don't. You can look for it. But I just wanted to share this thing of what do you think is going to be most beneficial for you if you're looking ahead? Getting active right now, and especially during this period, so that you can kind of talk about this to your employer or interviewer later, or not? And definitely diversifying the skill set. I think that's the period this is talking about the most right now. Hospitality, like this Connecting Humans Live, this is still hospitality in a way. It's communication.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Yeah. What do you think? I think that's a good one or the other. If somebody is talking to, do you want to say, yeah, sorry, but I couldn't do an internship, or you say, oh yeah, I used the time, I did this, I learned that, I did that, I did that, I did that. So that's actually the two things. That's a very good one, Eric. Yes.
Because people will.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually really that you just want to do something. All right.
Yeah, I think right now is definitely the right time and probably the perfect time to take maybe some online classes, learn new skills and everything. So when eventually we do go into the job market, there's not like a gap in your CV, between when you graduated uni to when you actually get something. So you can say that you either, if for example, we don't find a job straight away after graduation, maybe get an internship, maybe do some online courses. So then when you're talking to your future employers, you can say like, listen, like I didn't have a job. I haven't been working for the past year, but I have been developing like my skill sets and this and this. I was getting some experience here and there, and I think that's going to be a lot more.
But
I'm sure they're going to be looking out like on your CV, on your experience to see if you were doing something during this pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
They just see like a big blank. They're going to be like, he was lazy. He's not going to do anything. He doesn't have the experience. He didn't even try, and they're not going to hire you. I think it's going to be a real plus, even if it's a job, a diploma, like Miriam said, just like a special course or something. It's really important to do something during this pandemic. Otherwise, you're going to be considered as a lazy.
I've got a challenge for you four actually. Okay, the challenge is, what if you don't find a job?
Find another job.
Can you create your own job?
Yeah, perhaps. Why not?
So why not thinking of that now?
I mean, I would love to, but I'm currently stuck by a visa regulation. But if I didn't have that problem, I do have a couple of ideas in a pipeline I'd love to do.
So why don't you start now?
I can't due to my visa.
All right.
Yeah, I'm actually legally stopped against this problem. Ask me in a couple of years.
Okay, I will. Definitely I will.
Yeah.
And for you ladies?
I don't get what you mean by create a job.
But create a job. I mean, there are people who create their own stuff. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Create something, an idea, a service, something that people may need, or create the need and do something about it.
But is it this time? Because you're not going to get investors, you don't have the money, you don't have anything. So how can you create a concept and like try to implement it without any of those?
What do you mean you don't have investors?
You definitely can. I know for a fact. Oh, go ahead.
Before you all, I just want to share, because I know where Alexandra wants to go. I had actually the same thought, because you already did the first step by saying, okay, yeah, it's better to do something than not to do something. So you're already in motion, so you're already in movement. The question is now what to do. Do an internship, because I heard the word employer. We have to look what they want and so on. So you go again outside and you look again what they want. But we did a 6-week program. Alexander is a part of it. Andreas was also looking over our shoulders. We did a project in a country where you don't think that this is possible. And it's in Africa, it's in Ghana. It is 20, after 6 weeks, they had 21 projects with business plans where what they want to do with worked out stuff, how they want to help their communities and how they are going to do this with really excellent stuff. If you really put the effort in it, if you really put the effort in it, they created their own solutions for the things that are at hand. And I think they are also not in the best starting position over there if you compare it to our standards here, but they do something. And that's the I saw also that somebody wrote it in the chat. It separates the doers from the talkers. Exactly. This is the question. So when you do already this step, when you say let's do something, even if it's no matter what internship or skill that you can learn, well, why not turn that skill into something what you can provide and where you can do something? I think that's where Alexander wants to go.
Exactly, and that requires, ladies and gentlemen, to go out of your comfort zone, to sacrifice a little bit of what you're living now, the comfort you're living now, to really deep into it and bring up whatever you got inside. And I think this is the most difficult part, because the legal things, Thomas, you've got things that in 2 years' time, but pretty sure there is something, Andrea, that you can start now. One stone, you place one stone and then another one. And when 2 years arrive, there will be something you can do.
Yeah, you need a master plan, like Elon Musk said.
But you need to start now. If you wait in 2 years' time to start, there will be another 2 years before maybe something is happening.
Yeah.
If you start, you can actually put it on the rail.
Yeah.
But for that, you need to really go out of your comfort zone. And I think, and Pascal, I'm pretty sure he's agreeing with me over there, that's the most difficult step. Because right now you feel secure. You've got food on your table, you've got clothes on yourself, you've got a shelter, you've got everything, right? But sometimes going to the adventure is to lose all of that.
Yeah, and I think going to an adventure in those times is even harder, meaning you're already in lockdown, you're already going through a pandemic, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna survive through this, I'm gonna go through being stuck in my house, and that's it. And you don't want to break the rules. You not break the rules, but you don't want to live dangerously. You don't want to take initiatives because you're thinking, yeah, I'm already I have to stay home. It's a pandemic. I have to respect the codes and everything. So you don't even think. You go through your routine and that's it.
Yeah.
And
I kind of disagree with that one.
Good.
Because I think you can go out of your way while respecting the rules, because the rules don't tell us to completely stay inside. The stores are still open. There's still possibilities to go out and do what you want to do with maintaining the rules. So if you really set your mind to something and want to do it, then you should go for it while thinking of the rules, of course, but I think it's still possible.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying yes, you can, but since it's a lockdown, people don't feel like doing it and don't have the same initiative of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Sorry, then I understood wrong.
Mathilde, I cut you right here. You're talking about the other one. I'm asking you.
Oh, me? Oh.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm in the middle.
So here's the question. Do you want to survive the pandemic or do you want to thrive during the pandemic?
Thrive, of course.
So what are you doing to thrive?
What are you doing?
I'm 22 years old. I know I'm not going to die during this pandemic. I know it.
Yeah. What are you doing to thrive then?
Studying.
I'm sorry.
In the class already, so I'm already creating a project, and I'm already working on it and getting new ideas.
All right.
So without the pandemic,
I don't know what else I can do.
Are you, Mariam?
I definitely want to thrive. The problem isn't. It's finding the motivation. Definitely. Finding motivation during a lockdown is very hard because you get stuck in a routine. Every day is kind of the same. So it's trying to find that.
So what would you say? Sorry, quickly, Miriam. What would you say to our audience to find motivation then? What would you suggest to our audience and everyone else to find motivation?
To find motivation, I guess you just need to find something that you are actually very, very passionate about. Because then if you find something you really are passionate about, the motivation will come with,
Okay. Karis?
Well, for me personally, I think I was working mainly on my personality and on my self issues. But if I would have a tip for people what to do is look at what you want to, where you want to be at, or what you struggle with at the moment, and then set a plan to work on it, because that's what I did, and it's been working out really well so far.
Is it all right if we ask what that plan was to help inspire people?
Well, one thing is in the first part of the lockdown, so in March, for me it was really hard, and I started to not be motivated at all to do anything anymore, and I was just kind of really struggling on being mentally healthy as well. So I just started to try to think about where I want to be at and how I can maybe manage to not get to that state anymore. And it was by, of course, within regulations, going to see certain people again and just trying to get out of the house, doing sports a lot. For me personally, that is one of the biggest things that helped me. Also, getting my body fit again helps my mental state a lot. So for me, it was just working out and things like that.
Always doing the same thing.
So we're almost done for the night. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all. Alexandra, Pascal, do you have anything else to say?
Yes.
Any more challenges?
No. Because, it's not even an advice, because you don't give an advice when it's not asked, actually. It's something you're going to place on the table and you take it or you leave it, right? If you want to create something with your life, you need to dare yourself. You need to take risks. You need to pick up more daisies and definitely go out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And if you have to break some rules, break some rules.
But yeah.
Pascal, anything?
Don't get used to it.
I promise I won't anymore.
I will hold you up to that.
Well, okay, it's been an absolute pleasure having everyone. I'm going to sign off with my own little couple words of wisdom. And mine is, no matter what the problem is, take a leap of faith, and 10 times out of 10, it's better than what you thought of if you never took the leap itself. Thank you and good night.
Yes.